So Netflix and Guillermo del Toro are releasing their version of Pinocchio later this week, and there is so much hype around this one at this point, especially after the awful version Disney put out earlier this year. Is it going to live up to the hype, or does it come off a little wooden? What's up, guys? I'm Sully Streams. I post videos every week about which movies are actually worth your time and which ones are just hot garbage, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you keep on adding to that never-ending watch list. And today I'm excited because we're talking about Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio. If you're familiar with the classic tale, you already know what's going on here. In 1930s Italy, a master craftsman tragically loses his only son, so he builds a brand new one out of wood. One night he magically has a wish granted that brings his creation to life, and he begins living with his new son, Pinocchio. Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors working today, so obviously I was looking forward to this one. He just has such a rich and interesting filmography, and I love that he incorporates the fantastical into every single one of his movies. Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, even the ones that don't completely work for me, like Crimson Peak, they're packed to the brim with deep mythology and an attention to detail that just enriches the whole story. And he also seems like one of the nicest guys in Hollywood, and I want to give him a big bear hug, but that's a different story. If those mythology aspects are why you like his films, you'll be happy to know he incorporates a bunch of those elements into Pinocchio, and it's even cooler this time around because it has this beautiful stop-motion animation. The visuals are a massive selling point of this movie. They look incredible, and a lot of the creatures in here look like they're plucked right out of Pan's Labyrinth. So it's cool to see his style reimagined in this medium. But I will say, though, this ain't your father's Pinocchio, because out of all the versions I've seen, this Pinocchio looks the least like a real boy, and that's mostly thanks to Mark Gustafsson, who's a claymation artist, and he helped co-direct this movie. Now, even though this is a PG animated movie, it deals with a shocking amount of death and fascism in it. I mean, it takes place in Mussolini's Italy before World War II, and if we know Del Toro, we know what kind of themes he likes to delve into, this isn't a surprise, but if you're a parent that's just putting this on for their kids on a Saturday afternoon, you might not know what you're signing them up for. This ain't Paw Patrol. This is actually some serious shit. I definitely think kids can still enjoy this one. A lot of that stuff will go over their head, and it's done in a funny way, but just know that stuff is in here. But that's really what sets this version apart from all of the other ones. It's not afraid to talk about themes like death, grief, and what it would mean if Pinocchio actually became a real boy. It would mean that his life would eventually end like everybody else's. And this version deals with that way more than any other does, and that's really where those fantasy elements come into play, but most importantly, that's where the emotion comes through. Now, as per usual from a movie by this guy, the cast is stacked from top to bottom. We've got Ewan McGregor, Ron Perlman, Christoph Waltz, Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett basically just makes monkey noises the whole time, but she's in here. And our two lead performances are David Bradley and Gregory Mann. They do a really nice job, but Ewan McGregor as our narrator and Sebastian J. Cricket in this movie, he's the glue that holds this whole thing together. There's actually a couple of musical numbers sprinkled around in this movie performed by our characters. I really wasn't expecting that, but they're always well performed, and it progressed the story, so it didn't bother me. But everyone in here really fits their role well, and it helped to make that world feel much more unique and lived in. And going back to Del Toro's filmography for a second, he just has so many good movies under his belt, and even if you don't love what he's offering up, you have to admire the sheer complexity and spectacle of it. And I don't think Pinocchio reaches the all-time highs of like a Pan's Labyrinth or The Shape of Water. For me, it's much more on the Nightmare Alley level of things. Again, that's a really good movie. It just doesn't reach the all-time masterpiece Del Toro highs for me. Pinocchio is still a really good animated movie, and with Del Toro's direction, it's a very entertaining experience. And I like the original Pinocchio story, so all of those anticipated beats are in here, but it also expands on the story in a couple of ways I wasn't expecting. Some of it goes off on tangents. I could have done a little bit without that, and it pads the runtime a bit, but a lot of it really works to enrich the story. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio looks really good compared to that other version of Pinocchio we got earlier this year, and I definitely think it's the best version of the story I've ever seen. It's oozing with heart, style, and dark comedy, and the attention to detail behind the visuals will make you think that a storybook has come to life. I definitely think it overstays its welcome just a little bit. I would have liked to see maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes cut off of it. Since the original story is so much shorter, it can definitely drag a little bit in some of those expanded areas, but I just hope that audiences give this movie the love it deserves to guarantee us another Del Toro stop-motion animation movie, because his style just lends itself to this medium so effortlessly. Pinocchio gets a Sully score of 4 stars. So that's my review of Pinocchio. If you ever wanted to see Cate Blanchett make monkey noises for 2 hours, your prayers have finally been answered. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to go check this one out or if you've already seen it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys at the next video.